Well, with more than 25 million sales, powerhouse author Elizabeth Gilbert is a name you'll find on almost every bookshelf. She is, of course, best known for her 2006 novel Eat, Pray, Love, which was made into a big screen blockbuster starring Julia Roberts.
The memoir followed Elizabeth's journey of discovery right around the globe. It started such a movement, she was considered one of the world's most influential people. Well, now the author is on our shores, inspiring us all to be creative and live every day with purpose and with passion. Elizabeth Gilbert, live in the studio. Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much for having
welcome.
me. It's wonderful to be here. Hi.
15 years since your beloved book made it to the big screen. Take us back to the very first time you saw the film.
Oh my gosh, it was so surreal. They gave me a screening of it in New York, so it was like me and my then husband alone in a giant movie theater watching ourselves on the screen as played by Javier Bardem and Julia Roberts. And we just kept touching ourselves. Is this real? This is so incredibly surreal. I still feel like I haven't processed that film
Is that
happened.
right?
Yeah, like how do you even take that in and then live a normal life afterwards?
Yeah. Well, how did your life change after that book? Forget the movie, but after the book, how did your life change after that?
Well, honestly, if I can be really candid, the biggest change was that as a woman and an artist, I was suddenly financially independent. And I don't take that lightly because very rarely in history have women and artists been able to be financially independent. And so I sort of took it as a challenge to do the most adventurous creative work that I could possibly do afterwards, to honor all those women and artists before me who didn't have that kind of financial independence. So it actually made me kind of raise the bar on trying to be even more radical and exploratory in what I was creating.
Yeah, I'm interested. What did it do to your creative process? Did it free you up? So all of a sudden you're not worried about the bills that you might have been, the rent, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it also was intimidating because how do you write the book that comes after Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah, right.
You know, so it took me a couple years to sort of ground myself to be able after that to express myself freely again. I had to kind of almost forget that I was the person who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, but the world never lets me forget that I was the person
Sorry
who wrote
about
Eat, Pray,
that.
Love.
That's our fault. Sorry.
Because like people doing their Eat, Pray, Love journeys, as you and I were talking about earlier, that continues forever, which I actually think is a kind of really sweet legacy.
Yeah. So you're here in Australia and you're on a speaking tour, workshops. Why do people come to see you and what is it that you offer them?
I have a friend who described me one time as being a walking permission slip. And I feel like, especially for women, that's my role in the world, is to be the one who says, no, actually you can. Like, actually, you can fill in the blank. You can write a book. You can go back to the creative pursuits that you loved when you were younger. You can leave that abusive relationship. You can travel the world. You can change your life. So I think that's why people come, is to get permission from the walking permission slip. And if that's my role in people's lives, then absolutely. And the workshops that I'll be teaching will be about embracing your creativity and your freedom to a higher degree.
Could you have imagined when you were writing this book that it would make you this globe-trotting therapist? You're this universal therapist all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh, what a great description. Globe-trotting therapist. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll happily take that. No, not in a million years. In fact, prior to that book, I had only written for men and about men because I wrote for men's journals and men's magazines. And the thought that I would become kind of like an inspiration to women never crossed my mind. I was just trying to save my own life when I was writing that book.
Right. So you have a new book coming out. That September, I think. September it's coming out. What's that one going to be about?
So that's called All the Way to the River. It's my first memoir in, oh my gosh, in 15 years. And it's about the harrowing journey that I went through with my partner when she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And the river in the title refers to death. When she knew that she was dying, she said to me, I want you to walk with me all the way to the river. And so that book is about that journey of walking somebody to the end of their life.
What would you like people to take from that? If there is a message, there's obviously so much heart and so much soul in there, but what's one message you'd like people to take?
That things can be harder than you think they're going to be, that you can end up at times in your life where you feel like you've fallen very far away from your center, and you can find your way back home.
The process of writing that book, Elizabeth, were you doing that in real time? Were you sort of writing about that and I guess journaling as a way of dealing with it, and then you've been able to turn it into this book?
That's exactly it, Kylie. Yeah. I mean, I'm always, writing is the way that I figure out what happened. And sometimes writing is the way that I figure out what is happening. And so from the minute that she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, I started taking notes and writing everything that was going on. And then that journey turned wild and crazy, which you'll read about in the book. It took all sorts of different turns, as life can do. I was speaking with somebody last night and saying that the Zen masters say that first, there are these moments in life where first they pull the rug out from under you, and then they pull the floor out from under the rug, and then they pull the ground out from under the floor. And the Zen masters say that's when you're ready to begin your spiritual journey, when you're standing over the void. And I actually think it's a rite of passage that in every human life, all of us will have that happen at some point, no matter how carefully we try to live. I'm sure you've all had it happen already, where suddenly you look down and you're like, there used to be a floor here, and it's not here, and who am I now? And so in a way, that book is about standing over that void and trying to find ground under your feet again.
So you give people the tools to try and do that, because you can only do that yourself. I mean, you can turn to Elizabeth to get advice, but it ultimately has to come from within, doesn't it?
And what happens when Elizabeth Gilbert is the one standing over the void, right? You know, like, I'm the nice lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. Everybody's looking at me for guidance, and I'm like, I just got lost. You know, like, so yeah, this can happen to any of us. Life can get very lifey. And you can end up very far from your core and your center. But yes, I will certainly share all of the experiences I had about how I found my way back home.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we work in television. We can relate. Our floor is made of cling wrap at best.
Maybe it's true for all of us, actually,
so
right? Maybe there is no floor.
And I'm stealing one of your ideas for my new book, but I'm just calling it Eat. I hope that's okay.
I think it'll be a huge hit.
Yeah, I think so.
I look forward to reading it.
So good to see you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Gilbert has shows all around the country, and it starts this weekend because, yes, we're into February, right? We've got all the links over on our website. Great stuff, Elizabeth.
Lovely
So
chat.
to meet
Good to
you.
see you. Thank you.